With the technology of today, stealing your private information is easier than you would ever imagine. Most of us use RFID-enabled smart cards to pay for groceries, enter into office buildings, and travel around the world. What you may not have realized is that these cards can be scanned by anyone in close proximity. With the acquired information, criminals can impersonate you, steal your money, and sell your data on the dark web. There is, however, a simple way to protect yourself. Introducing the RFID Shield. Its patented e-field technology prevents scanners from accessing the data in your smart cards, such as credit and debit cards, passports, and office badges. By placing the RFID Shield in your wallet or purse, you can protect cards simultaneously. It does not require batteries due to its inventive way of harnessing the power from the signal of a scanner. The RFID Shield is a simple and affordable means of securing your private information. Secure your wallet by pledging your support for the RFID Shield.
Australia is a place of incredible natural beauty. I've been exploring it my whole life, but I feel like I've really only scratched the surface. The thing is, the only way to reach many of these amazing places is with a car. And cars built for adventure and exploration are at the heart of our culture, like this four-wheel drive from the early 70s. SUVs and four-wheel drives still dominate our car sales, but they're also one of the reasons our transport emissions are some of the worst in the world. We're Jaunt. I'm Dave, and this is my co-founder Martine, and we're transforming iconic vehicles like this into electric vehicles for adventure.
We're working with local communities to create a new kind of rental network, one where you can take a Jaunt for a half a day, or a full day, or a week, and visit all those amazing regional locations.
Essentially, we're taking out the internal combustion engine and replacing it with an electric motor, a giant cordless drill motor really, and removing all these old parts that run off vacuum pressure and belts, and instead putting in modern parts that run off battery power. One of the biggest differences though, and the nicest differences, is that instead of sounding like this, it sounds like this.
But this is just one vehicle, our prototype. Ultimately, we would like to be working with the local communities to upcycle the thousands of cars that are sitting in back sheds and farms across Australia. We'd work with local engineers, with the local council to install charge points, and with the tourism bodies to help us curate bespoke journeys.
Along with the hundreds of supporters that have already signed up, we've got the people and the partnerships to make this a nationwide project over the next few years. But we need help. We need to connect with your community, we need help to test and build these vehicles, and we need to prove that people want it, that people will pay for it, that you will take a Jaunt.
You could be a part of our test driving program for as little as $50, or you could hire a Jaunt for a day or a whole week. Either way, you are going to be helping us create a uniquely Australian experience. One that draws on our heritage, it's creating bespoke and personalised journeys for visitors, it's respectful of our natural environment, and it harnesses the talents of the local community. If we raise $50,000, then we convert Juniper and we take a journey up the East Coast. If we raise more money, then we can build more cars, we can get to your part of the world a little bit quicker.
Australia should lead the world in zero emissions transport. Help us prove that we love our country as much as we love cars and we love adventure. At Jaunt, we just want to be one small piece of Australia's future transport and tourism puzzle, but a piece that really sparks the imagination. And with your help, we think that everyone can explore Australia's beautiful natural environment sustainably and share adventure.
Hello, my name is Tim, and I think I've invented an absolutely new way of text inputting. First of all, let me explain how I got to this idea. When I got my first smartphone, I was a little bit disappointed with the way how the software keyboard is implemented. Unfortunately, since that time, nothing changed significantly, and here are the points that I personally don't like. Probably my fingers are too big, but I'm doing mistakes pretty often, because even with my big screen, each button is too small for my fingers. Also, I don't like that software keyboard takes half of a screen in a vertical position and takes almost entire screen in a horizontal position. By the way, I'm a big fan of blind typing and I always use it with my hardware keyboard. Unfortunately, software keyboard doesn't provide any way of blind typing. This is why it is disappointing again. And finally, if you are holding your phone with only one hand and you need to type text, you have to change the way you are holding your phone. And this is a chance to drop your phone and get it broken. And if we are talking about TV, it's even worse. You have to make a certain amount of movements to type only one character. And that looks old school to be true in the 21st century, right? And what about Apple TV? It looks more sexy, of course, but still, the issue is the same. You have to do a number of actions to enter only one character. Okay, let me show you some magic. Let me explain how it works. In a regular software keyboard, the way of interaction is tap, and this is an issue because you have to put a lot of buttons on the screen, the one per each letter in the alphabet. But what if we use swipe and its direction as a main way of interaction instead? For me, it looks more natural for touchscreens. I've made some research and figured out that current level of technologies allows us to detect 8 directions of swipe on any part of the touchscreen. So these are up, down, left, right, and 4 diagonal directions. So to cover English alphabet, we have to allocate 4 parts of our touchscreen. Okay, here is what I implemented so far. Here we have 4 segments. Every segment has its own char set. So for example, to enter A, we need to do a diagonal swipe to the top left over the blue segment. To make M, we need to make a right swipe over the gray segment. It looks easy, right? Let's try to enter hello word. Cool. Also we still can use the tap actions on the segment. For example, for the common operations like space or delete actions. Also we can use a swipe over the number of segments, for example to go to the uppercase or lowercase. One more point is that we can use a long press to move the swipe board or to resize it. That makes it truly customizable for every finger size. The greatness of this idea is that you can use it everywhere where you have a touch recognizable surface. For example, it can be Apple TV remote, or it can be my gamepad of my PlayStation with a touch surface. And of course, if I implemented the regular Bluetooth keyboard protocol for my Samsung Galaxy Watch, I can have a portable keyboard anywhere I want, anywhere I need. And this looks for me pretty cool. So I tried to run my iOS code on Apple TV, and here is what I have here. You can see that there is layout displayed on the screen, and to enter one character I need to do just one action, so text inputting is much faster, and this is much better than any of existing solutions so far. One more cool feature of the swipe board is blind typing. So once you get used to the layout, which usually takes around 2 weeks, you may not look at the layout at all. You can just look at the text that you are typing. And this is an important feature for those guys who use a blind typing on a hardware keyboard. You know how cool is it, right? And finally, if you are familiar with the blind typing on the swipe board, you can even make it transparent, because you don't look at it and it doesn't take any place on your screen. You can watch through it, and this is a great feature that I use already. Besides that, with the help of swipe board, people with eye disabilities can input text in the same way like everybody else. I don't know how do they do it now, but if it is a text-to-speech, it's definitely not private and doesn't work for public places. So with the swipe board, you can do it like everybody else. Actually, my mom is an old lady and her eyes are not as good. So she asked me to install my prototype on her Android phone, even if it's not production ready. She uses it for a month so far, and she is very happy with it. By the way, I haven't tested the swipe board with a stylus, like for example the Galaxy Note has, but looks like it should be a pretty good alternative for the regular keyboard as well. Let's talk about where we are and what are the next steps. Currently we have a pretty good prototype for Android and a not bad prototype for iOS devices. Let me explain you why it's just prototypes but not a production-ready applications. First of all, if we don't have a good auto-suggestion and auto-correction services implemented, it's definitely not comfortable to use a swipe board as an alternative for existing software keyboard. Also, we still need to implement the configuration interface so you can easily configure the languages, the layouts, and etc. We have some ideas to create a training application so your transition to the swipe board from existing software keyboard is smooth and comfortable. One more point is that we plan to create a separate version of applications that will be adapted to the people with eye disabilities. Also, we will work on Apple Watch and Galaxy Watch versions. Of course, we plan to work on the Apple TV and Android TV versions of our application. Also, to improve the recognition of the swipes, there is an idea to integrate a simple AI so it adjusts to a particular user, so it's more adapted to you. As you can see, there is a lot of work to be done and a lot of cool features to be implemented. So this is why we are asking you for help, because without it, it may take a very long time. Thank you for attention. Have a great day. Bye bye.